Hey guys, and welcome to another ArtifactsCCG.com video, and today we are going to be starting a new series on common mistakes that I predict new Artifact players are going to make. Many of these are mistakes I myself made, or mistakes I've seen other players make as they join the beta. Now, there are a few things that make Artifact very different from other card games, and this is part of why there's so many of these mistakes that people are going to make when they start. The biggest one is the mana system. With 3 different lanes, having 3 mana from the start of the game, mana is not an issue. You have enough mana to play almost anything, unless you put too many high costed cards in your deck, obviously. But early game, it really isn't a concern for being able to play cards. You draw a card and you just play it, because you have 3 different lanes you could potentially play that card in. However, this leads to many mistakes where people assume that because they can play a card, they should play a card. Because typically in a game like Hearthstone, you're trying to math it out. If you spend more of your mana than your opponent, you're probably going to win in a game like Hearthstone. That's not true in Artifact. And this is especially true with a few specific cards that I'm going to cover here. These cards are important because they remove heroes, and that would be Duel and Gank. These are 2 of the most common instances, although there are other cards that kill heroes, such as Berserker's Call or Coup de Grace. But Duel and Gank are cheap, right? Duel can be played on round 1, Gank can be played from round 2. And these cards kill heroes, which is extremely valuable. However, just because you can kill a hero doesn't mean you should. This is especially true on round 1. Oftentimes, if I'm playing against an opponent and round 1 they go Duel and kill one of my heroes, I'm just like, really? This is going to be an easy game. Because I know immediately that my opponent hasn't played the game long enough to really understand, at least in most instances, how the game works. And the reason for this is that killing a hero round 1 doesn't do a whole lot. While health is important and potentially killing that hero would let you hit the tower or something like that, oftentimes you'll see people duel a hero who they're not lined up across from, and that hero was blocking a single 2 melee creep. So you're only increasing the damage to the enemy's tower by 2, and early game cards don't have a ton of effect, so you're preventing them from playing an early game card. The only real advantage you're getting from it is taking away or gaining the gold from the hero kill, which can really snowball you into a early victory, but you can't really close out those victories if you don't have any resources left with which to kill important blue heroes or whatever it may be the enemy has that you need to take care of on the key turns. So if you use all of your duels early, you won't have those late game. And this, even besides the point where spending a duel or spending a gank, and I'll go ahead and show that for your guys' benefit, besides that point, you are also allowing your opponent to deploy their heroes wherever they want to and wherever is most important 2 rounds from now, right? So if you start out round 1 and you gank a hero, they can just be like, okay, whatever, you killed him, I'll get to put him into the correct lane 2 rounds from now. And that can often lead to easy wins, because the round in which you are going to redeploy that killed hero has more mana and is thus typically a more important round. And you also have a better idea of what lane is important to the game because more has happened at that point. If you're just killing someone round 1, sure, you might be able to kind of anticipate how the game is going to play out from there, but obviously you won't know as much as you will later on in the game, so your opponent is going to be able to put that hero wherever they need him in a more important round. While this advantage of being able to redeploy the hero isn't necessarily better than just having that hero on the board and not being dueled for your opponent, once you weigh together the advantage of them being able to redeploy a hero wherever it's most necessary 2 rounds from now, and the disadvantage that you took when you expended your hero killing card, then it becomes typically a loss for whoever played that duel or whoever played that gank. That being said, gank is much easier to make a good use of, because if you gank cross lane, then you're typically killing heroes before they could spend any mana, and that's typically good. And side note, if you are casting gank, you probably want to gank from left to right, just because of the way that rounds work. If you kill a hero to your left, sure, you're killing them, but they already had their entire lane's turn this round, so they're only missing 1 round. Or if you gank to the right, then that hero isn't going to get a lane phase that round, and they're not going to get it next round, so you essentially kill them 2 rounds. And that's just a side point. But the main point is, when you first start this game, and you go in there with your Legion Commander, and you're, you know, red-black hero killer deck, don't just needlessly kill heroes. Think about it. Are you really going to start snowballing this lane? Are you killing them so you can deploy Sora Lacan there next round and really start snowballing that tower? Because then maybe you can justify it, right? Maybe you already have an Assault Ladders in your hand. But if you don't have a reason or a good plan, or if you don't have, say, a second duel already available in your hand or another gank available in your hand, then please don't just play those cards the second that you draw them. Play them on turns that are important and where you're denying your opponent important values. One of those important turns would be the round of 6 mana in which Annihilation becomes a factor. That is when you're definitely going to need a hero killing card available to kill any blue heroes that your opponent may be tossing into lanes that you are planning on killing. But that's just one example. Take into account your opponent's list, what are their important turns, kill them before those turns, and hopefully you can win the game. In any case, I hope you enjoy this series. I will be doing probably, I don't know, anywhere from 4 to, I don't know, just depends on how many mistakes I can think of, I guess. If you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe. If not, tell us why, and I will see you guys next time.